And we're back. Mike Sturmich, DangerandPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset,
Mike just discovered neck cheese.
the Siren Mindset. A lot of you said you miss Syra. How's she doing? Figured I would show you. She's doing great. She's got to eat, though. She's got to eat, then I got to eat. We're on YouTube. Poor network connection. Dusseldorf. Second attack in Dusseldorf. Fake news in action. 80-year-old man is attacked with a machete in second violent incident in Dusseldorf just hours after Kosovan went on an axe rampage and hoped police would shoot him dead. Kosovan. Okay. So in American media, if you're familiar with fake news, you'll always know, here's how it's called: erasure. E-R-A-C-E. Erasure. They erase the race of the people if it's not a white guy. So if a white guy, sneezes over here, they're going to say, oh my God, white male terrorist throws poison gas all over Subway, right? But if it is not a white person who commits a crime, then they'll say local man, teen, teenager, men, group of men, right? They always use these euphemisms. Well, so this guy, the machete attack, he's from Kosovo. Kosovan. that means Muslim. That means a Muslim man. It means Muslim man, but now they go, oh, it's a Kosovan, who knows? Who knows? That is how they erase. But the thing is, here's the weird thing, man. I'm not anti-Muslim. Here's what I don't like. Right now, we live in this bizarro world where you can't have a nuanced conversation about anything, right? The issue with Middle Eastern refugees has little to do with Muslims relative. People are going to clip that out. Oh, he's saying Islam is not a problem. He's afraid to name Islamic terrorism. Chill out, all right? This isn't basic bitch media, basic bitch conservative media where we just say the Muslims are out to get us. No, the reality is it's the attitudes towards women, right? So on the one hand, I'm anti-feminist. On the other hand, I'll recognize that if you have the attitudes about women that they have in the Middle East, you're in a bad place, right? You're gonna be in a bad place. We're choppy. We having low connection problems. We having feed problems. Is that what the issue is? Is that? Let me know. Is the stream? He's frozen. Oh man. We got updated internet. We have the best internet. I'm spending so much money on internet. Ugh. And I can't even stream. But anyway, the issue is I'm anti-feminist. But if you view women the way they do in the Middle East, which is you can grope them if they're not accompanied by men, then they're fair game. That's too far too, right? You got to have balance in life. And what is happening is we have no balance in life. But the Kosovoan with the machete and the axes is a Muslim. Let's just be real, okay? You got to be able to talk about... We can talk about the problem once we identify what is actually going on. We can talk about causes, but we got to talk about facts first. And we live in a fact-free world. The world we live in is fact-free. Hit the like button. If you want me to talk about the fact-free world and my plans for a seminar that I have, that I'm going to teach people everything I know about social media. Would you like to attend a training seminar where I will teach you everything that I know about journalism, media, social media, platform building, everything that I know I could teach? Do you want to learn? If you do, hit the like button. I'll start talking when I hit 100 likes. Yeah, hit the refresh button. Hit the refresh button. Okay, we should be good. So, it's fake news. This guy, they're going to say, is from Kosovo. No, it's a Muslim Middle Eastern man. Let's just be real. Let's be real. We can talk about the causes, but we got to find the facts first. And one thing I hear from a lot of Middle Eastern women come to America, they talk to me. They go, Mike, I'm afraid to say this in public. But they are Muslim women, or they are more secular Middle Eastern women. They're afraid to say, when I go to the Middle East, I'm treated way worse than any man in America would ever treat me. right? They will tell you. That's the thing that I encourage people. If you talk to Middle Eastern women, they'll go, if I'm in Iraq or Afghanistan or Jordan, by the way, is very civilized. But if you're a Muslim woman, local woman, walking around by yourself, uncovered, not very good. If you're in these no-go zones like Kosovo, if you're a woman in Kosovo walking by yourself, you're going to get groped, thrown up against a wall. Wolf packs are going to surround you. But the media will not. The media will not give them a message. They won't give them a platform. They won't actually say, let's talk to women who have lived in the Middle East. What is it like? There's just no platform. They no platform. Yeah. Interesting thing. Oh yeah, Shauna's about to freak out. I was walking Julius and we saw a coyote. And I was trying to get the coyote to say hi to me. And I Snapchatted it. And so now's about the time where Shauna's going to say, Michael, coyotes are dangerous. This is why I don't want you walking trails at night. What if the coyote attacked you? What if there were...
What if these coyotes are big?
Exactly, right? I saw the coyote and I wanted to say hi and get the pictures and everything. So if you go to snapchat.com/Mike Cernovich, I'm Mike Cernovich on Snapchat. So I was trying to say hi to the coyote. Gorilla versus coyote. You might get rabies, so you don't want to get bit by them. But they're afraid. I mean, come on. Come on. This is I got the hoodie on, right? Looking big. But anyway, the media, they won't let women talk about what it's like being a woman in the Middle East. If you're a woman and you want to write Jezebel and you want to say, you know what? I went to Twitter one time and I read a Mike Cernovich tweet and I was triggered and I was literally shaking all day. They'll give you a platform all day. But if you're a woman and you say, you know what? I don't feel safe walking by myself in a Middle Eastern country because the men will attack me. No, whoa. They won't let you do it because you don't fit the narrative. Could I beat a wolf? Hell no. Do you guys have any idea how ferocious a wolf... Could you not... I couldn't beat a chimpanzee up. I couldn't beat up a gorilla. I couldn't beat up most animals, really. Every man at one point in time has had this conversation. Every group, put a group of men together, and we're the biggest group of douchebags in the world. Who would win in a fight? Brock Lesnar or a gorilla? Well, how many Brock Lesnars could beat a gorilla? The ferocity of a wild animal is not something that human beings can even comprehend. But you have the conversation. Well, who would win in a fight between, could I beat a... people will say, well, if a wolf came at me, I would let it grab its arm and then I would, punch it. No, you wouldn't. If a wolf latched onto your arm, you would hear bones shatter. And as it popped like a twig breaking, your body would begin to go into shock. You're not just going to, I'm going to hold the wolf, and while, the wolf is going at me, I'm going to punch the wolf. I mean, get out of here, right? But that's just what men do. There are certain foibles of being a man. Every man is first of all, every man is an expert fighter. Every man, even if you've never been in a fight, tough guy. Every man is an expert fighter. Every man is desired by all women. And every man is a stock market trader. Right? All the men in my feed were just fired up today because Coinbase was down. They wanted to trade Bitcoin all day. There's a whole chapter in Gorilla Mindset on how you're going to lose your money in the end. You're not a trader. You're trading against machines. You're not going to be a trader. Unless you have inside information, you might end up ahead on the deal today, but then you're going to lose tomorrow, right? Dollar cost average. But it's just the nature of being around men. What else do men like to do? Hit the like button. Men also like to correct you in really dumb, annoying ways. I hate to agree with Olivia Nuzia. Alt-right Olivia. God, I'm triggered now. I'm triggered because I got to agree with alt-right Olivia. But alt-right Olivia she posted a screen cap of a man who sent her an email correcting her. And the email said, you got the date wrong in the article. But actually the man had misread the date of the article. And as somebody who writes primarily for men, oh my God. Right? This is where I don't want to sound like a feminist. But mansplaining is real. I will have men correct me on my own life. And they're completely wrong. Or they'll try to nitpick. I block those people. Or they'll try to nitpick you on something, right? Or they'll go, well, you say this, but technically that. Or like publishing, right? So one time I said, hey, first-time authors should self-publish. And then a man, has to say, well, an exception to that rule would be Castilla House Publishing. And it's like, dude, I fucking self-published. I've published with Castilla House. They don't publish everybody, right? So the correction was stupid. Vox Day is a friend of mine. He runs Castilla House. I've published with them. So I know what I'm talking about. But this guy wants to talk about a 1 in 10 event versus a 9 thing. And that's like every day, that's what men do. And this guy never even published a book that did anything. So I'm thinking, how do you know someone? Here's ultimately like what I ask men is, why do you know so much, right? Because guys would always correct me. I'm like, why do you know so much? They would say, every YouTube fitness person is on natural. They're all natty. And I'm like, well, how many big gyms have you gone to? How many pro bodybuilders have you known? How many bodybuilders have you trained with? Well, no, but the YouTube guy says that he's all natty and that you can look like this if you buy his $199 program. It's like, you idiot, you don't know anything. You only know what this idiot told you, or what the huckster or fraud told you on the internet. So you're always like, what? But the thing is, by the way, hit the like button, give me 200. It isn't even that the guys who do this are haters. They're not even haters. They just really think they know, and it's a very male thing. And it's karma, because I used to be that way too. Here's what I used to say when I was 25. Mike Cernovich at 25. You'd read somebody like a wise old man. The wise old man would say, I know less today than I did when I was a young man. And Mike at 25, Mike Cernovich, DangerPlay.com, before DangerPlay.com. Mike at 25 would say, whoa, what an idiotic old man. How could you know less when you're older than you do when you're young? Well, you realize that what you think you know when you're a young man is actually illusory. You don't know fucking anything. You know what some government idiot told you, what the fake news media told you, what your teachers told you. You don't know what fucking frauds, people who are trying to steal your money have told you. You don't know anything. And that was me at 20. I knew everything. Then you actually learn a little bit, and you learn that most things people are fucking scammers and frauds, and the fake news lies, the education lies, the history books aren't true. So I know now I'm much less than I did at 25. But what I know now is a lot. But I only talk about things I know about. When you're a young man, you have an opinion about everything. 4chan versus Cernovich. 4chan, easily. 4chan versus Cernovich would be like a wolf between Cernovich, right? How would you beat that, right? Wouldn't even make it. It's not even a contest. But when you're young, the expression goes, the less you know, the more you know it. You really think you know something about everything. So if you're a young man, you're an expert fighter. So you watch the UFC and you go, they should just do that. Oh, well, if a guy came at me with a double leg takedown, I would just hit him real quick before he could get the takedown. Man, so you've never actually been with a wrestler. When I was trained jiu-jitsu, guys would say these were like they weren't particularly talented, but they would be maybe like a new blue belt. And be like, oh yeah, I could beat Floyd Mayweather. Dude, you have no idea how fast these people hit, right? It's not that easy. It's not, but every blue belt could beat Mike Tyson. There was even a meme on that, an old website called The Other Ground, where everybody would get their blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and then they would think, well, I'm a blue belt, I could beat Mike Tyson in his prime. And a lot has to happen in between getting Mike Tyson on the ground. You're not starting from the guard position. But that's just a guy thing. That's just a man thing. So in a way, though, that is what makes men great, too. Because you have to have a delusional belief. It's a contradiction of life. That's why I'm more patient with young men than most people are. Because you have to have a delusional belief in yourself to do anything in life. If you think about it, like, life is hard. Life is hard. Even if you're born with money, you got emotional problems, anxiety, mental illnesses, people trying to sabotage you, people you thought you were friends aren't your friends, people, where is this going? LOL, just leave if you don't like it. You talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're having a nice Friday night conversation. I don't need anybody to direct it. Talk about what we want to talk about. So life is hard, no matter who you are. So to believe in yourself that you're actually do great things, you have to be delusional. You have to be delusional to do anything. So that's why I don't like to tell people that they are delusional, because you have to be. You have to have delusional self-confidence in yourself to do anything in life. But the flip side to that is, like, people correct me on internet business stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, if there's one you could correct me on a lot of things. If there's one thing you're going to correct me on, you're going to correct me on internet business stuff. No, you don't know shit compared to me when it comes to online brand building. So you need to have a delusional belief that you will succeed. But you need to not argue with people that you think you know more unless you have genuine track record of accomplishment. But delusion is necessary. That's why people go, Cernovich, you're delusional. Cernovich, you're delusional. You're right. You're right. Because if I didn't believe, nobody believes in me more than I believe in myself. So then I must be delusional. Think about it. By definition, if you believe something that nobody else believes, then you are delusional. This is a definition. Right? This is a definition. If you believe something to be true that no one else believes is true, then you're delusional. So you have to have a delusional belief in yourself. You have to believe that you're going to do great things in life, that you can accomplish anything. It is delusional because you can't do anything. That's the thing. You can't do whatever you want. But why don't you let life push back? And this is where all of these concepts kind of tie together, right? Concept 1, delusional belief in yourself. 2 is make the world tell you no, right? Those are the 2 big principles of life. Here's what I mean. I believe that I'm going to be the biggest name in journalism ever, of all time. But I really believe it. I believe that I'm one of the 10 most, I believe I'm one of the 10 most influential people in media. People would say, Mike, you're not. You're never going to do anything, and you're certainly not one of the 10 most influential people in media. And I would say, well, when I tweet things, a couple of days later, Trump's doing it, right? When I say this is what Trump needs to do, a couple of days later, it's happening. How many other people have that kind of direct line to the president and that kind of influence where I say, hey, this is what needs to happen, and then that happens, right? But you say that, people think you're crazy. Well, it's not. But another thing you got to realize, people want to bring you down level. Alex Jones is more influential than I am, for sure. That's the thing. I never said I was the most. Hannity is more influential. Hannity is definitely more influential than I am. Alex Jones is. But we're working our way up in the field, right? That's not a comparison that bothers me. Like, one time a person goes, Mike, you're not as famous as Kim Kardashian. And they were trying to shade me. And I thought, well, one, I would never want to be that famous because that would not be a fun life. But you're comparing me to the A-list of the A-list of the A-list of fame. So how is that even an insult? Because you're now in the frame, right? So by trying to shade me, by comparing me to people like that, if you'd have said something like, well, Mike, you're not as famous as, and then you listed some random person, then I'd be like, oh shit, that actually landed, you know? that actually worked. Same thing. So Sean Hannity, Alex Jones, more influential now, for sure. Mike, what fundamental self-belief is screwing most young people over in today's world? The fundamental self-belief that is screwing most people over in this world is that if you show up, life will happen. If you show up, life will happen. I'll give you, I don't want to shade my own readers. I don't want to shade DangerandPlay.com, Guerrilla Mindset readers. I don't want to shade my Twitter followers. But I've been on Twitter a long time. People have been reading me a long time. I've been checking out people's stuff. 5 years ain't nothing changed. 5 years of reading me, 5 years of my over 150 podcasts, my thousands of hours of videos, my books, my audiobooks, my blog posts. Nothing has changed. Nothing. People I followed on Twitter, they're still talking about dates with one girl. I'm sorry, but if you're a dating guru and 5 years ago you're talking about dates with one girl, then I better be reading articles about how you're dating 3 girls at a time, because that's how it goes. That's just the evolution. The evolution is that if you're talking about a date with one girl 5 years ago and you're really dating one girl and she's attractive, then your life is going to get a lot more interesting 5 years from now. If you're telling the truth. If you're actually living the dream. The same thing, people talking about money. 5 years ago, they're talking about money. 5 years later, they're still talking about money, but they're not talking about the Ferrari, their new boat, their vacation homes. They're still talking about Michael Kors watches. Like, wait a minute. Get money. Yo, get money. Get money. So 5 years ago, you're talking about Michael Kors watches. 5 years later, you're talking get money, Michael Kors watches. So obviously, you've not gotten any money because you'd be on that Philippe Petit, or at least Rolex life. 5 years, right? So it's the same thing. Same thing with women. Get women. Yeah, get women. You've been saying that for like 5 years. A lot of things, right? I mean, I'm not going to get too vulgar. So what people think is that if you just show up, life is going to happen. Everybody's waiting for their big break. That is called the big break mindset. And there's actually, not to get Jungian, not to talk about Carl Jung too much, but this is mythology. Hey, did I ask you for your opinion on anything?
Rude.
So, there's actually, if you look at archetypal stories, what is the story? You're Clark Kent, you're kind of a nerdy guy, and then suddenly you find out you're Superman. If you watch, what is that film with the Kraken in it? Release the Kraken. But if you read any kind of mythology, you're like a regular guy, you find out you have divinity, and then you go on this path, right? This path to your destiny. Your big break is going to come. So the same is true in life. You think, you know what? My big break is going to happen. My big break is going to happen. I'm going to get that big business or that big whatever you want in life, and there is no big break. A breakthrough, if you work really, really hard. Clash of the Titans, exactly. But the broader point is, if you read mythology, you find out you're a regular guy, but really you're of divine origin. The Green Lantern, he finds a ring, and then suddenly he has these superpowers. That ain't real life. Real life is, you got no breaks coming. You're not going to have a big break in life. But young people today think, boy, I was born, and I'm going to get my big break. That's why if you talk to a loser, what does a loser always tell you? What does a loser always tell you? A loser always tells you that, I never got that big break. That is how you know you're talking to a loser. They go, you know what, I just never quite hit it big. I never got that big break. They talk about life in terms of luck, in terms of big breaks. I just never had that opportunity. There is no opportunity coming. There is no big break coming. You make your own breakthroughs. You have to go really hard for a really long time in obscurity where nothing happens, and then the big break happens. So yeah, I would say that's the belief. The belief is, well, if you're a hot girl, but they eventually get old, and then they're like the Real Housewives. They go, they lose their brains, right? They lose their brains there. Because, same with the trust fund, right? I know a lot of men who had trust funds who are miserable in life. Hot chicks, they did get a big break. They're going to find a big man, a rich man, to buy them stuff. But they're empty, and their hearts are empty, and they're disaffected. Believe me, I live in LA. You know how many being around rich and beautiful people in LA is just not even a thing, right? It's not even interesting. You don't even talk about it. It's so common. These are not happy people. Is this just about girls? LOL. Well, you know what? I'm a man. And as a man, I care about a few things. Spirituality, wisdom, knowledge, success, family. Men never stop caring about women. I'll give you a life tip. No man ever says, you know what? I'm tired of talking about women. No man turns 80 years old and goes, you know what? I'm 80 years old. Warren Buffett. You think Warren Buffett, when he's with the guys and the cameras are off, right? You think they're not talking about women? You think billionaire, or if you're gay, you're talking about men. It's how we got here. We got here because our parents were having sex, and we have children because we have sex. Guess what? That is life. Yeah, Sam Harris is a trust fund kid, and that is why he is too insecure. That's why Sam Harris wouldn't debate me. He never made his own way through life. His mom created the Golden Girls.
Okay, 3-minute countdown.
How long we got?
It's 7:20. Our reservation's at 7:40.
No, let's get out of here then. Okay, I'm going to close out in a couple minutes. I'm going to make fun of Sam Harris a little bit, and then we'll go. Okay, so Sam Harris, he never did anything on his own, right? His own PhD research, if you look into it, go look into it. There are a lot of accusations made about his academic background. Sam Harris is a fraud in every sense of the word. So Sam Harris, his mom made the Golden Girls. So he was a mama's boy. And he was confused about life. Here's the true story about Sam Harris. He was his little mama's boy. Mama did Golden Girls. He was confused about life, so he said, I'm just going to take 15 years off of life and go hang out and travel the world. Travel with mama's money. Mommy's money, travel the world. Mommy, imagine, Mommy, I need more money. Mommy, I need more money. Mommy, I want to go meditate with, and then he tries to pretend to be all spiritual. It's real easy to be spiritual when you're calling mama for money. When you got that ATM and you don't have to worry about money. It's real easy to be, oh, I'm so deep, namaste, spiritual. Start worrying about money and then tell me about your spiritual woo-woo-ness. Wonder how you're going to pay the bills, how you're going to keep the light on. Then I'll respect your spirituality. So he's got all this mama's money, sucking on his mama's teat his whole life. Right? He's got mama's money, 15 years, doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. Hires a big publicist. They pay a bunch of people to review his books. And then, he sold books because people paid him to do it. And he uses mama's money to hire a big publicist. And that's the story of Sam Harris. Sam Harris's story is he took Golden Girls' money and bought everything that he had in life and never actually did anything interesting, unique in his life. That's why he won't debate me. Because he's humiliated to be in the presence of me. He's humiliated to talk to a kid grew up poor, dirt poor, a couple of years on welfare, food stamps, know what it's like. I got 2 pairs of pants, got to last me the whole year, right? No big deal. He doesn't want to talk to a kid grew up poor, actually made something out of himself through the power of mindset, because that would remind him of what he did nothing with his life. If you have all of what Sam had, all that mama's money, and that's all he's done with his life, he's a nobody. Relative to where he started, he's barely bigger than I am, and I'm new to the game, and I didn't have that kind of head start. And in 5 years, I'll be way bigger than Sam Harris ever was. Right? 5 years, I'll be way bigger than he is. So he took all that money, all that opportunity. If he cares about the world's poor, why doesn't he give that money to charity? Why doesn't he say, you know what, I got too much money, I'm going to give it to charity? Because he's a fraud in every way. That's why he's afraid of me, but I'm used to it. Thanks for tuning in. Mike Sturmich, DangerandPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset. I'm going to go have dinner with money that I earned, unlike Sam Harris, who every time he buys dinner, he knows when he pulls out that credit card, this is from Mommy.